So my family and I love to go to the lake during the summer. We like to water ski, wakeboard, and ride the inner tube. And one time we were kind of just hanging out in the water, minding our own business, and all of a sudden I felt something kind of hard jabbing my foot, which of course is really not that uncommon at all. There are all sorts of rocks and fish and unfortunately trash in the lake, but I still wanted to know what it was. So I reached my hands down into the water and pulled them out, and when I looked into my hands, there was a knife. But it was a pocket knife, most likely used by some fishermen for, fishing purposes. So nothing too nefarious was really going on. So I just ended up giving it to my grandpa, who likes fishing, and he told me that that knife was probably worth around $75, and of course, 11-year-old me thought that that was the win of the century. And honestly, to this day, for some reason, that remains one of my most vivid lake-related memories, which is a little bit impressive considering that I have been to the lake quite literally hundreds of times. But finding that pocket knife also inspired my cousins, my sister, and I to create a new game where we would look into the lake water or on the sand to see if we could find any more treasures. We never found anything that valuable, but of course, whenever we were able to find someone's lost bracelet, toy car, or a pair of goggles, we all were very thrilled and proud of ourselves. And of course, we thought it was valuable enough. I do remember finding a plastic cup with my dad's favorite football team on it though, and I gave it to him, and that might have been the second best thing that I've ever found before, with first place being, of course, the pocket knife. But the lake is definitely a very good place to find some interesting little treasures like pocket knives and football team cups. Which reminds me of this other time that I was on vacation at the beach with my family, and we were just walking around looking through the tide pools, trying to find some seashells or some little minnows and hermit crabs to catch and look at a few minutes before re-releasing them into their home, of course. And when I looked closer into one of the tide pools, I saw this little thing that at first looked like a very old and rusty piece of a boat. But when I retrieved it with my net, I looked at it and it actually looked like some sort of bone or fossil. And of course my first thought was to take it to a museum where a giant owl wearing a bow tie would examine it for me and graciously ask if he could steal it for his exhibit of dinosaur bones. I'm just kidding, that was an Animal Crossing reference. But we did end up doing some research about it, and we found out that it was actually a piece of a dolphin backbone, which is kind of cool, but also, poor dolphin. Speaking of finding random animal things in public, one time me and my sister were playing at the playground, and we saw a rubber blue pig on the top of the slide. And of course, to a 9-year-old, finding someone's random lost toy blue pig at the park is basically the same thing as winning a jackpot. And of course, being such kind and hospitable children, my sister and I adopted the blue pig and named him Oinky, because he was intentionally hollow in the middle so that when you squeezed onto him, he would go, oh, I regret doing that so much. But yeah, my sister and I took turns reading to him, feeding him plastic kitchen food, playing with him on our swing set, and of course bathing him off whenever he got super dirty, as all pigs do. But at some point, me and my sister bathed him one too many times, and he got water inside his voice box, and he could no longer oink. And as you can imagine, my sister and I were absolutely devastated. Alright guys, well, that's it for today with all my very intriguing, hopefully, stories about finding random things out in the open. I'm very glad I was able to share these stories with you, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Okay, bye!